What percent of your daily experiences in your marriage do you think you need to consider positive to have a good marriage overall? If the number you thought of is greater than, say, 10%, and one of your goals in life is to build a fulfilling lifelong marriage, then chances are your relationship could benefit from mastering this secret of marriage, embracing the mundane. And that's exactly what I'll be covering in today's video. I'm Cameron, I'm a licensed therapist, wife, and mother, and this is my channel, Modern Marriage, where I share with you all the tips, resources, and insights that I've gathered from working with couples in therapy so that you can start building the relationship that you've always wanted. One of the most influential mindset shifts I have ever made in my marriage was to embrace the mundane, specifically the small things that repeat every day. These moments are the ones that hold the most potential for a marriage to either thrive or suffer, precisely because they happen every day. Let me explain. So whatever percent of your daily interactions you thought you needed to consider as positive to have a good marriage, is it more feasible to try to fill that quota with vacations, lottery wins, and crazy sex? Or to figure out how to love the day-to-day? In other words, what material is most available to you to make as good as possible? The mundane, the repeated. As these moments repeat often, they may seem boring, but when a couple attends to them and gets them right, they add a bit of joy to each day that accumulates over time. Unfortunately, though, the opposite happens when a couple ignores these moments or lets them devolve into repeated conflicts. So by getting these repeat moments right, you choose to guarantee each day will have a minimum number of positive moments rather than negative ones. It became quite clear to me how important it is to attend to the mundane moments once my husband and I started having kids. For anyone who's spent time around small kids, it's no surprise that their daily routines are very repetitive. They eat, need diaper changes, play some, but usually in the same ways, nap, cry, and want to be held some, over and over. And that can get pretty boring and easy to take for granted without making the effort to remember how important these moments are for determining the quality of the day. The same thing happens in marriage. You and your spouse probably have a routine you follow together most days. And again, this can sound boring, but that's only the case when we overlook the value of these mundane moments as the main entree of life. So how exactly do you embrace the mundane? I'll share 4 ways in just a minute, but before I do, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and share this video with someone who you think might benefit from it. Okay, tip number 1. Identify your repeat moments. Whether that's waking up together, your morning goodbyes, your evening hellos, your dinners, or going to bed at night. Before you can embrace the mundane, you have to identify it. This is really helpful because it'll not only show you which moments could be a lot better, but also which moments usually sit at the middle of repeat conflicts. For example, a lot of couples who fight every day fight when they initially get home from work at the end of the day. So that might be one of those repeat moments that you really want to attend to in your marriage. Tip number 2, focus on how you're showing up in these moments. How perfect, or if you're religious like me, how saintly can you be? How could you make these moments better? To make this more concrete, I encourage my couples in therapy to set goals for the sort of spouse they want to become, then look for how they can use each moment to work towards those goals. One thing that really helps with this sort of focus on the present is to get rid of as many distractions as you can, especially your phone. This works because if you give any given moment more attention, you're more likely to start thinking of that moment as important. Your brain interprets your attention as an indication of that thing's value, and you almost naturally start to invest more in making those moments positive. Tip number 3, remind yourself that life is seasonal, so we ought to appreciate the seasons before they're gone. The way I've been able to put this tip into practice is by looking for silver linings. For example, my husband works longer hours in some seasons than others. In those busy seasons, when I see him less frequently, I try to look for the benefits of having more time apart. Can I see my friends more? Can I call my family more? Can I focus on making evenings fun with our kids? Then, when my husband and I do get time together, we try to make it special. Since nothing lasts forever, the best way to make each day better is to remember that we only get to live that day once. So it's worth living it in a way that won't encourage regret later on. And tip number 4, think of boredom as a gift. Most people find boredom painful, even physically painful. Enough that most of us are tempted to pull our phones out during any short break from the action, even if it's just to go to the bathroom. And I am no exception to that rule. But boredom is actually a gift because it calls us to creativity and deeper appreciation for our present circumstances. Boredom asks, what is there to appreciate in this moment? How can you change your mindset and your behavior to create more joy right now? Okay, guys, what do you think? Does this align with your experiences of marriage and relationships? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, I'm Cameron, and this is Modern Marriage.